Hey, hey, hey. It's your girl, Lady D. We're keeping it real. Hope all is well. Everything's going well on my end. Thank God for life, health, and strength. Another day He has given me to get it right with Him. I wanted to come and share something with you guys. That really, really, really touched me. And it brought awareness. I was speaking to one of my neighbors that lives on the left side of me. He's been a neighbor about, him and his wife had been there for about maybe 10 years. We actually been in our house for 23 years. 23, 24 years. But he's been there for about maybe 10 years, I believe. Pretty good people, pretty nice people. Always been friendly. But anyway, his wife recently passed. So once I found out his wife had passed, he has, back up. His wife passed. She only had one daughter. Her daughter actually didn't live here. He has no kids, no family here. He's from a different country. So he basically alone. So anyway, what I did, myself and a few other neighbors, about seven of us in the neighborhood, 7 houses in the neighborhood. We all got together and we took up some money to, because we didn't know exactly how they go about when someone passes. So I said, let's just take up money and give them money. So we took up pretty good. I put it inside of a car, had everyone to sign, and we took it over there. We all picked the day that he was available. So we went over to his house and stayed for about maybe 30 minutes. Took a neighborhood photo. I still have the photo. I gave everyone a copy. I made copies and gave everyone a copy. Because it's a different variety of people within our neighborhood, nationalities. So we gave him the money and he really appreciated it. So about maybe a little bit of time after that, my husband came home from work. And he came in the house and he told me, he said, the neighbor, I'm not going to call his name, but he's standing out in the yard. He's just standing out there looking. So I asked my husband, I said, well, did you ask him, was he okay? Knowing that, his wife just recently passed. And he had said, he spoke to him. And the neighbor just threw his hand up and was saying like, hey, and this and that. And he walked away. So that was it. And I was like, oh, wow, I hope he's okay. But my husband said that he just said, Lord, have mercy. And he came on in the house, and that's when he went to tell him about it. So by 3-4 more days after that, I saw him standing out in the yard. And you could tell that he had been crying. So me, I actually went over there. And I walked up to him and I asked him, I said, are you okay? I called him by his name. I said, are you okay? Then he said no. And then I was like, well, I said, what's wrong? I said, it's going to be okay. I said, it's going to take some time. I said, you take as much time as you need to heal. I said, so you cry, scream, do whatever you need to do. You can't tell no one that they lost their wife, their spouse or whatever that not to cry or to hold it in. You can't do that. And there's no time period on how long you mourn and how you mourn. So you have to do it the way that you can release yourself so that you'll be able to sustain afterwards. So he had told me again, he said, I'm not okay. And I was like, well, is there anything I can help you with? And he had told me, he said, you know, I don't know what to do. Then I had said, well, it's going to be okay. He said, but my wife was the one that took care of everything. He said, I don't know how to pay bills. He said, I don't even know what to pay. He said, I don't even know when to pay. He just went to going down the line, and that thing shook me up. I was like, oh my God. And I had told him, I said, well, I know who your water company is through, and I know who your light company is through because we had the same companies. I said, so, I told him the name of the company that he would need to get in contact with. And, for the mortgage and stuff like that, I don't know who you deal with, all that kind of stuff. And personally, I don't want to get into that because that's a whole nother level when you step into certain areas. Some certain areas you just can't bother when it comes to dealing with people, regardless of who the people are. So I didn't want to overstep my boundary. So I did point him in the direction for the light and the water company. So he said that he had called her daughter and asked her if she could help him get things lined up and situated. Because she never went over anything with him. He also said that they didn't have any insurance, no death insurance. So he was basically stuck with having to try to get his wife taken care of. So I did speak with another neighbor, and that person knew some organizations that could probably help him get the things that he needed to in order to be able to lay his wife to rest. So that neighbor that I spoke to, she did help him along that area because they talk the same language, and I really I don't know the language, so it would have been better for him to have someone that he could really, really communicate with. And so, but once I had that conversation with him, it kind of shook me up. I thought about it. I said, well, you know what? Here in my household, I'm the one that maintains all the bills. I take care of all the bills. And I went to thinking, I said, now, will this be my husband standing in the yard trying to figure out what to pay, who to pay, how much to pay? So it was tagging on me. So what I did, and I'm suggesting that all of you guys do it, married couples sit down and talk about it. I know you don't want to talk about my husband, this type of person. He didn't want to talk about it. I told him my last will and testament, what I want at my despise. I gave him a detail of what I wanted, how I want to be, how I want my last days to be, my last plate time here to be. Just cremate me. Don't waste money on a big funeral. Don't go buy all that extravagant stuff. Don't do none of that. I just need you to go ahead and just cremate me because you still got to live afterwards. You still got bills coming in. So I wanted to make sure we check my dinner. Make sure that I turned my stove off because that spaghetti sauce smelling real good. I tried a different way today, so I'm hoping that the flavors and different things that I put in today, that it really blends in really, really well. But I told my husband, I said, don't waste money on any of that. Have me cremated. You don't even have to have the service. Even though I am a church person, still you can just have a open service at the gravesite. You know what I'm saying? I've lived my life. So you really don't have to go that deep. But I was telling him, you need to know these things. You need to know who we pay, where we pay, how much is the balance. Even though you turn everything over to me once you get paid, and I take care of all the household bills, so you don't have to worry about it. But about like on Wednesdays and Thursdays, I said, well, honey, Friday, this is what we need to pay. Then when, his check is check come, I take care of whatever we need to take care of. He'll call and say, well, was everything okay? Did you get this taken care of, this and that? Yes, I got such and such taken care of. But it's still not the same as him doing it himself, getting it familiarized with it. So what I did, I went ahead. We talked about it. He told me his last wishes. So it'll be something between him and I, because we are married. So that's something between him and I. It's not to please no one else. It's to maintain for the other one that's going to be left behind. So we both choose to do the cremation. I told him that I feel as though he should keep the home because we'll be finished paying for it in a couple of years. He was like, well, no, I think I'm just going to sell it and get me an apartment. And I was like, that doesn't make sense. When you'll be finished paying for something, or, close to it or whatever, I don't know when my demise is going to be, but it still need to lay out something to lay out so you'll know what you're going to do. So I went ahead and I typed up a copy. I made 3 copies of who I pay for mortgage, who our car payments are to, who our car insurance, who our water, our lights, life insurance, the insurance that I have for my grandchildren. And that's another thing I want to talk about too. But I made a list of all these things so that he'll know. Because when someone passes, and especially I'm quite sure if a spouse passed, people will try to take advantage of you. Because they're trying to figure out what you got, what they can get out of you. It's just that simple. I don't care if it's family. It could be the pastor. It could be the mortuary. They will take advantage of you. So it's best to know that you have a plan set. When you get ready to lay someone to rest and you have insurance, I advise you to never go in there saying, I have a $10,000 policy. I guarantee you they're going to ring it up to at least $9,000. They want it all. Or they're going to ring it up over the $10,000. You still be on them. So don't never, ever, ever do that. When you're going to lay someone to rest, I experienced that with laying my mom to rest. You tell them what you have to spend on a service. It can be done. It can be done. No matter what they tell you. You don't need no gold casket. You don't need no silver casket. Because all that stuff is going to decay anyway. So you don't need all of that. You still got to live afterwards. You still got bills coming in afterwards. I know you love the person that you're putting away, but think smart. Be aware. Because people are out here to scam you, to take whatever they can take. So be careful with that. If you got a $10,000 policy, you go in there and let them know, look, I got $4,000. And you may have to work it up a little bit to maybe even $4,500 to $5,000. But never walk in there and tell them exactly what you have. Never, ever do that. Because they will take every penny. Also, what I was going to tell you guys about, but just make sure your spouse and you know what your plans are. Write them down. Give someone that you can trust a copy. Like I said, I have 3 copies. I made 3 copies of the same thing. And each one of my daughters will get a copy, and then my husband will get a copy. Then I also left a copy here at the home that they can have easy access to. And also, I wanted to share, if you have a policy and you, say for instance, you have 5 grandkids, and you took out a extra policy, like myself. What I did, I took out, I'm talking about me. So what I did, I took out a separate policy. And the separate policy is for my grandkids. No, I'm not leaving my children nothing. They can have some of the stuff that I have here in the house. I already put on the paper. They can sell it, keep it, do whatever they want to do with it, but just split it. So I took out a policy for my grandkids. I have 6 grandkids. So how I have it set up is each one of them get a portion of what the policy is. They get that portion when they're 21. That money, if they're under 21, that money will sit there in a secured, safe interest account. That account will draw money for them. And if they're sensible enough, when they get 21, they make the wise decision. I didn't put it in the agreement, but that'll be up to them. What they can do is take and withdraw the interest and keep the money in there. Let that money keep growing. But just take out what you need for the, to spend. If you want to get a couple dollars off the interest, then do that, But that's how I have that set up for my grandkids. But I advise you, if you have, because I just witnessed a situation like this. The person left her grandchildren. She had like maybe 7 grandkids, but she only left 2 some money. I think that is real, real mean. Regardless, if that was the 2 that was there constantly, you could have still left the other 5 something. If it ain't nothing but a little bit of change, because you didn't scar that child. You didn't scar those 5 kids. Because now they're trying to figure out, well, what did I do to grandma to keep her from leaving me anything? You're going to bring a wedge in between those kids, the ones that you left and the ones that you didn't leave anything. That's not cool. You don't do that. If you feel as though 5 didn't deserve anything, then the other 2 didn't either. Let's keep it real. You don't do that. That brings a wedge into those grandkids and into the family. Money, love of money is the root of all evil. People feel funny ways when it comes to money. If you're not gonna leave all, if you don't have $500 and you got 7 grandkids, go ahead and leave them all they little $45, $50 a piece. Make sure you spread it properly. Yeah, I know she may have came and took you to the store a little bit more than the other ones. She's supposed to do that. That's what they do. Because I'm quite sure when she came to take you to the store, you was giving her $5 and $10 for gas. So you done already gave her. So don't do that. That's not good. It's not a good example. You have to be careful with stuff like that. You could leave those children bruised. You could leave them scorned. You can't do that. It's not, you shouldn't do it. Put it that way. You shouldn't do it. But I know people that has done it. I know somebody just recently done it. Whether you thinking, oh no, ain't nothing gonna be said. Oh, something gonna be said. They're gonna always have that in their heart. Always. So let's be mindful and careful about what we do. People's feelings and heart is at hand. But yeah, I'm leaving for my grandkids what I have to leave. And it is to be divided equally amongst all 6 of them. And like I said, they should draw off the interest of it. But the main thing is, make sure you sit down with your spouse. Make sure you wives sit down with your husbands. Explain to them what's going on in the household. Let them know what needs to be paid, how it needs to be paid, when it needs to be paid. Put the phone numbers on papers so that they'll be able to access this stuff. Because you just never know. You just never know. Be smart about it. Because like I said, when you lose someone, a lot of people will take advantage of that. They see an opportunity, they will do it. It could be family members. Either side will take that opportunity to get what they can get out of you. So be cautious and mindful of that. Sit down with that husband. Give him that information. It's okay. Let them know what's going on. And husbands, you do the same. Sit down, ask questions. Let them know what's going on. If it's something on your job for is an extra insurance that your wife is entitled to, if something was to happen to you, you need to let your wife know. You need to let her know so that she'll be able to get what's entitled to her, or to get, because she's going to need. Everyone's going to need afterwards, because that's two incomes that will be dropping down to one. I know you don't want to talk about it. Nobody really want to talk about that, but that's something that we all must do. We be born and we must die. So let's make sure that we have everything in line. You know what I'm saying? Be smart about it. You don't want to lose or miss out on nothing that belongs to you rightfully, that you didn't work for. Make sure that you call the Social Security office. See if there's anything that you were entitled to when it comes to Social Security benefits. Make sure you up on that stuff. Any insurance, like if you own a home, some places have that death insurance where your home, if one spouse passed, then the house is paid for. So make sure you check with all of that. During the year, check on all that stuff to make sure that you have the right things in place. Even with the car insurance. I know we have that coverage if anything happened to either one of us, whether it's an accident or not. Our cars are paid for. They will pay them off. So you may have to pay a little extra during the year, but it's okay in the end, because you're gonna go. I'm quite sure to be a lot trying to deal with the loss. So make sure that you have these things in place. Make sure you're talking about it. Make sure you're freshening his memory. You're freshening her memory, so they'll know, hey, honey, I got such and such on my job. Don't just get it and then don't tell her nothing about it. It ain't gonna do no good. You know what I'm saying? So make sure those things are in place. It'll be for your advantage to make sure everything is in line. Because my husband have extra things on his job, and he has told me about it, so I know, okay, that's something that it can be counted in. If anything was to happen to him. So that's basically all I really wanted to do. It just really touched my heart. Like I said, when I was talking to the neighbor, it just woke up something inside of me, and I knew that I had to get on the ball. I had to not let this opportunity pass me by. So, just being smart, and making sure that we have everything lined up and it's in place when we need it. Because you're going to need everything you can get if something was to happen to either one of you. Especially if you have little children. I thank God my children are all grown now. And they're basically on their own. But I still kind of look out for our grandkids. My kids do the best that they can, with what they have. But a lot of times I try to set aside something monthly so that I can do something with the grandkids. If it's just something here in the yard, go buy a whole bunch of stuff and just, celebrate the kids in the yard. To try to help out as much as I can. One, to give my children a break. And two, to let the grandkids know, hey, Nana still got a little energy. Not much, but a little. But, just make sure that you guys, you and your husband, you and your wife, sit down and talk about it. Let them know what you want. How you want it. Just be smart about it. Come together and be on one accord. Okay? All right. So I hope that you guys take this in order. And like I was saying that I had typed mine up. So I did type mine up here. I'm going to show you I have mine already typed up. So I did that already. So I typed it up here at my computer. And I made 3 copies here with all the information on it. 3 copies, one for my daughter, the oldest girl, one for the youngest girl, and then my husband. And I have the envelopes, So what I'm going to do is put each copy in the envelope, seal it, date it, and I'm just going to basically put on it not to be opening until my demise. So, so, you know, just, do it however you feel that you want to do it. But just make sure you do it. Okay? So you and the husband, you guys go in right now, turn off the TV, turn off the radio, lay the phones to the side. You guys go in there in the living room, den, kitchen, or wherever, the kitchen table, wherever, and go ahead and sit down and get this thing together, okay? All right. It's best to be prepared. All right. You guys take care.